Hey guys, good morning. So we've spent now the last two lessons, right? We've talked about two-step equations, right? We did some that required us to add and then divide, and then the second day we did some that required us to add and then multiply. So the first day was like numbers 1, 2, and 3 on this do now, and then there was the next day was like number 4. So today's just going to be kind of a recap, right? So before we're ready to move on, because I know some of us kind of struggled with the one-step equations even. We just really don't have the time to spend an extra day on those, unfortunately. So I spent an extra day on two-step equations. Normally I do one. And now we're even spending an additional day today just kind of making sure that we understand everything that's going on with all the different types of two-step equations. And then our next lesson we can finally get to start talking about all the different types of multi-step equations, which means more than two steps. So we're going to solve and check these 4, okay? And this is going to take us some time. Right, so that's what I want you to do now. So remember, guys, with the do now, you should be doing it before I do it. All right, in other words, you should be pausing the video. You should be working on the do now. Then you should unpause it and watch me do it and make sure that we did it essentially the same way, or not that it necessarily is exactly the same, but at least that we end up with the same solution and the same check. So let's talk about the first one, right? So I've got 5x minus 17 equals 13. So all along we've talked about eliminating terms by adding opposites, right? So I want to isolate the term 5x. I want to make negative 17 poof disappear, right? How do we make terms disappear? We add the opposite. And it's not so much that they disappear, they have a sum of 0, okay? So if I add 17 on both sides, negative 17 plus 17 is 0. 13 plus 17 is 30. That gives me 5x is equal to 30. I like to rewrite my one-step equations, not absolutely necessary, but personally that's what I like to do. We divide both sides by 5, we get x is equal to 6. All right, so let's talk about our check. And I'm not going to check all of them, right, because I do want to give you guys some time for your work. But let's talk about the 3 steps for our check. All right, so all along we've said step 1 is to rewrite the original equation, which is 5x minus 17 equals 13. Right, step 2 we said is going to be substitute using parentheses. So we think x is equal to positive 6. So using parentheses, I'm going to replace x with 6. And then step 3 is going to evaluate using the order of operations. So I have 2 things I need to do. I have multiplication and I have subtraction. So I need to follow order of operations, meaning I'm going to multiply 5 by 6 to give me 30. And then finally I do my subtraction, which is 30 minus 17. And then we have our left side is equal to our right side. That means we're correct, right? X really was equal to 6. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Right, so the next one is really fairly similar. I want to eliminate negative 14, so I add its opposite on both sides. That gives me negative 8c is equal to 24. And again, I kind of prefer to rewrite my one-step equations. So I divide both sides by negative 8. I get c equals negative 3. And if I substitute and do my check, I get negative 8 times negative 3 is positive 24, and 24 minus 14 is positive 10. Let's do the same thing for the next one, and let's be really careful. Right? Remember what we talked about that first day of one-step equations. Some of that talk that we heard from our teachers in the earlier grades maybe about always using inverse operations isn't exactly true. I see a subtraction sign, which, again, we're treating that as a negative, right? Positives and negatives instead of addition and subtraction. But that doesn't mean I add, right? What do I want? I want to get that x term by itself. I need to make that 52 disappear. Now that 52 is positive. The 2x is negative, right? The 52 is positive. So if I need to eliminate positive 52, I need to add negative 52 on both sides. So 52 plus negative 52 is 0. Be very careful here, guys, that we're bringing down the negative 2x. It's very easy to forget about the negative. It just disappears, and then your answer has the wrong sign, and of course it's not going to check. So we get negative 2x is equal to negative 38. And again, I prefer to rewrite my one-step equation. I divide both sides by negative 2. I should end up with x is equal to 19. And if I check it, when I substitute 19 for x, I get 2 times 19 is 38, and 52 minus 38 is 14. And the last one is just the first step is going to be essentially the same. The second step is going to be multiplication instead of division. So I want to isolate x thirds, right, or x divided by 3. So I need to make that negative 9 disappear. And again, the way we make terms disappear, and again, we're not magicians per se, but we think about adding opposites to create a sum of 0. So rather than me every time say sum of 0, that's what we're doing. We're eliminating terms. That's the terminology I prefer we use. So negative 9 plus positive 9 is 0. We make sure we bring down our x thirds, and 6 plus 9 is 15. I'll be consistent and rewrite my one-step equation. I need to multiply both sides by 3 because x is being divided by 3. So what did we talk about, right? Yeah, we cross it out, we talk about canceling out, but really we're signifying the fact that if you multiply and divide by the same number, it's like multiplying by 1. So really this is 1x. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, I just don't need to put the 1 next to the x, so I get x is equal to 45. If I go and check my equation, 45 divided by 3 is 15, and 15 minus 9 is 6. So that's really it as far as our mini lesson, right? This was just a review, right? How well did we understand? I'm sure some of us maybe had some trouble with the first lesson. I'm sure some of us had some trouble with the second lesson, and that's fine. So now we want to make sure that we're good with two-step before we move on to multi-step. Because if you're still struggling with two-step equations, you're not going to be able to do multi-step equations. So what we're going to do, and this is going to be a little assessment also, is this is your homework. Okay? And it's very clear. Choose 5 to solve and check. Just in case there was any miscommunication there. Okay? It's going to be 5 out of the 10. And you're going to solve and check them. If you don't check, I can only give you half credit. Now, obviously, they increase in difficulty. So if you want to think about the easiest equations, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8 are probably the easiest. Now, just so we understand, 4, 5, 6, and 7, they're going to have fractional solutions. Okay, so no matter which 5 you pick, you're going to end up with something that's a fraction. Now, for number 4, it's actually a really easy fraction because you're dividing by 2. All right, but if you get a fraction for number 5, you're not going to freak out about it because I'm telling you, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, you're going to end up with solutions that are fractions. And that's okay. So actually 8 and 9 are both pretty easy. So if you want to avoid the fractions, which I don't know why you would, but if you're fraction phobic for some reason, 1, 2, 3, 8, and 9 would be a good way to go. For those of us that really want to challenge ourselves, which I suggest, if this was easy for you, I suggest you challenge yourself and do 6 through 10. That would be a great idea. If you're the type of person that says, this stuff is so easy, I want some extra credit, you will do all of them. So just to reiterate, if you do all of them, solving and checking, and you probably have some time, so you might as well, I will give you double credit. So instead of, I'll give you a half extra. Double would be a little excessive. So instead of 10 points, you end up with 15 points, which is going to, certainly boost up your homework grade. Even if it's perfect, you end up getting more than your 25 or your 30% of your points. All right, guys, any questions? As always, we talk about it on Google Classroom. Have a great day.